Welcome to the deep dive. If you're in digital marketing or, managing any kind of website, you definitely know the HTML title tag, that one line of code.
Yeah, that single line. And for, gosh, decades, it's just been seen as this simple, functional thing. Almost an afterthought sometimes.
Exactly. But that view, well, that might be the biggest mistake people are making in modern search optimization.
It really is. Our sources today, we've got official Google guides, some internal docs, even leaked engineering notes. They all point to the same thing, the title tag. It's evolved. It's not just passive anymore. It's arguably the most strategic bit of communication you have on the internet.
Right, so we're going way beyond just like how many characters fit. What we want to do today is really get into the why. Why does Google have these complex AI systems just for scoring and judging and often rewriting your titles?
And how that single element connects to the huge ranking models, the ones deciding if you're on page one
Right.
or buried somewhere else.
Yeah, how does it actually influence ranking?
Think of it like this. That title tag, it's your maybe 60-character elevator pitch. Not just for a person scanning results, but directly to Google's most powerful algorithms.
So it's a balancing act then.
Totally. It's this human-AI symbiosis. You need clarity for the user, right? But that clarity, that's the signal the machine is designed to pick up on and reward.
Okay, let's start with the basics, maybe clear up some confusion first, because even defining it gets tricky sometimes. What is the title tag exactly, and where does it fit?
Fundamentally, it sits inside the head section of your HTML. Simple enough. Its main job is defining the page's overall purpose. It's what you see in the browser tab. And critically, it's that blue clickable link on the search results page, the SRP.
Which brings us right to that super common mix-up, the title tag versus the H1 headline on the page itself. They sound similar, people often treat them the same.
Yeah, and they absolutely should not be the same, or at least not treated the same. Understanding the difference is honestly mission critical for SEO now.
Okay, break it down for us.
The title tag, think of it as an external signal. It's audience. It's the user who hasn't clicked yet, scanning the results. And it's Google's crawler. It's the label on the outside of the box.
Okay, external, the promise.
And the H1?
The H1 is internal, as audience is the user who has already clicked. They've committed. It's the main headline they see when they land on the page, giving that immediate context.
So the title is the book cover.
The H1 is like the first big heading inside, maybe the chapter title. It confirms you opened the right book.
That makes a lot more sense. But the sources we looked at suggest there's a real algorithmic kickback if those two don't align, right? What happens if the cover promises, I don't know, a thriller, but the first page looks like instructions for assembling furniture?
Yeah, you get this jarring disconnect. And Google is actively trying to measure that. We see evidence of it. That mismatch, the title promises X, the H1 delivers Y, it leads straight to user frustration. They bounce.
Yeah, they hit the back button almost immediately. Our docs show Google systems measure that bounce rate. We'll talk about pogo sticking later. And that directly translates into a negative ranking signal. It hurts you.
Okay. Before we dive deeper into algorithms, let's just quickly address that little bit of jargon, meta title. We hear it a lot.
Oh, the infamous meta title. Yeah, technically it's wrong. If you hear someone say that, they probably come from maybe a marketing background or used a CMS that labels it that way.
So it's not a meta tag.
No, it's its own element
Yeah.
title. It's not like the meta description tag. And that unique status, it actually kind of underscores its importance. It's not just describing the page, it's defining it.
Got it. Element, not meta tag. Okay, now for the really fascinating stuff, the algorithms. How does this one line of code actually feed into Google's core ranking systems?
This is where those internal data models get really interesting. The title tag feeds directly into a key metric for copicality. We see these references to something called titlematchScore.
TitlematchScore. So a specific score just for the title's relevance.
Exactly. It's Google calculating precisely how well your title matches up with a specific search query. It's not just about keywords being present, it's about how explicit and relevant that title is.
Wow. So vagueness is actively penalized by this score.
Correct. A generic title, low score. But here's the really interesting part. The score isn't just page by page. The documentation mentions an aggregated site-wide title match score.
Site-wide. So the quality of titles across my entire site affects how Google sees my domain's overall relevance.
That's what it points to. You can't just optimize a few key pages and ignore the rest. If, say, half your site has weak, poorly matched titles, That site-wide score could actually drag down the ranking potential of even your best pages.
That elevates title optimization quite a bit. It's not just page level anymore.
It becomes a domain-wide quality signal, absolutely.
Okay, so they reward clear, relevant titles with this title match score. But they also seem to be actively hunting for bad titles, right? Not just ignoring them, but penalizing them.
Yes, and this is maybe one of the biggest takeaways from the leaked info. Google has a specific data model. It's called Doc Properties Bad Title Info. Its whole job is to flag poorly constructed titles.
What counts as poorly constructed?
Things like being way too short, obviously stuffed with keywords, maybe just boilerplate text. And this system doesn't just, note it down. It identifies the type of badness and assigns a quantifiable negative score.
Whoa, okay, that's a game changer. A bad title isn't just neutral, it's actively harmful to the page's ranking potential. It's like a penalty flag right from the start.
Precisely. If bad title info flags your title, that score can act like a filter, potentially suppressing your ranking even before things like user clicks come into play.
Yeah.
You're starting behind.
Speaking of user clicks, this feels like the perfect transition to nav boost. This is where the rubber meets the road, right? Where technical scores meet actual human behavior.
Absolutely. NavBoost is, well, arguably one of Google's most potent re-ranking systems, and it's fueled almost entirely by user click data. What do people actually click on? Do they stick around?
And the title tag is our main tool to influence that click.
It's your primary lever, yeah. You're essentially crafting the little ad that asks the user, pick me, vote for my result on the SRP.
So let's unpack that vote. What exactly is NavBoost measuring when someone sees my title?
It's basically distinguishing between what they call a good click and a bad click. Simple, but powerful.
Okay, what makes a click good?
A good click is someone sees your title, finds it compelling, clicks through, and then stays. They engage with the page, maybe scroll, maybe click something else on your site. It signals satisfaction. Your title set the right expectation, and the page delivered.
And the bad click. I assume that's the opposite.
Exactly. That's the dreaded pogo sticking.
Yeah.
User clicks your title, instantly sees the content isn't what they expected or wanted, hits the back button like within seconds, and clicks a different result on the SRP.
Ouch.
Yeah, that rapid return. Huge negative signal to NavBoost. And what's the #1 cause of pogo sticking? A misleading or unclear title tag.
So the job description for a title tag writer is now, be irresistible but brutally honest. You need to grab attention but perfectly manage expectations.
That's it. That's the heart of that human-AI symbiosis again. You use your human understanding, your empathy, to write a great pitch. That great pitch generates positive user signals. And Google's AI, like NavBoost, is built to detect those positive signals and reward them with better rankings.
Okay, this is making sense. Let's get super practical now. Based on everything, the official docs, the leaks, years of SEO observation, what are the rules for crafting that perfect title tag? Let's start with rule 1, uniqueness. Seems basic, but...
It is basic SEO hygiene, but you'd be surprised how often it's missed, especially on large sites.
Bruh.
Rule 1, every single indexable page needs its own unique title tag. No exceptions.
What about boilerplate stuff, like using the same title for a whole category of products?
Big mistake. That screams low effort, low quality to Google. If you have 1,000 pages, you ideally need 1,000 distinct descriptive titles. It's fundamental.
Okay, unique titles. Check. Rule 2, keyword placement. We know stuffing is bad, but where should the important keywords go?
Lead with them, as naturally as possible. Search engines still give more weight to words appearing earlier in the tag. All the testing suggests keywords in the first, say, 8 words, definitely not past 12, have the biggest impact.
Why is that?
Well, partly algorithmic weighting, but also user behavior. People scan search results fast. They're looking for their query terms immediately. So put your main topic front and center. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, rule 3, length. This is the one everyone argues about. Is it 55 characters, 60, 70?
It's a myth. The strict character limit. Because Google doesn't count characters. It measures pixel width.
Pixel width, like how much space the letters take up visually.
Exactly. Think of it like trying to fit text into a newspaper column. Lots of wide letters, like W or M, use up the pixel budget faster than narrow ones like I or L. On desktop search results, that budget is generally around 600 pixels wide.
So that 50-60 character guideline is just a rough estimate, a proxy, because most characters average out around that width.
Precisely. It's a helpful rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Usually keeps you safe from truncation on desktop, but it's not the technical limit. Some short titles might get cut off if they use wide letters. Some longer ones might display fully.
And the internal systems are even more specific.
Oh, yeah. We see mentions of Google's snippet system, codenamed Muppet. It calculates length using these hyper-precise units called dseams.
D-seams. Seriously, why do we need to know about D-seams?
You don't need to optimize for dseams, obviously, but knowing they measure things that precisely and even track the number of lines the title takes up, Muppet title num lines, it just proves how meticulously they manage that SRP display. It's not arbitrary. They care deeply about how it looks and functions, down to the fraction of a pixel.
It shows the level of detail. Okay. Rule 4, structure and search intent. How should the title change based on what the user is actually trying to do?
This is crucial, and Google's own developer style guide gives great hints. You have to match the title's structure to the user's likely intent.
Give us an example.
Okay, so if your page is a practical guide, a how-to, Google suggests starting the title with a bare infinitive verb, like create a virtual machine or set up DNS records. Very action-oriented.
Makes sense. What if it's more informational, like explaining a concept?
Then they recommend using a noun phrase, something like ML model monitoring overview or quantum computing explained. Clear, descriptive.
And for pages trying to sell something, commercial intent.
Action words again, but focused on the value proposition. What's the benefit? Why, click here, think shop running shoes online, free shipping, or book your Costa Rica vacation package. You need to match the structure to the goal. It helps satisfy that title match score we talked about.
Got it. Finally, rule 5, branding and those little separators, the delimiters.
Right. General advice. Include your brand name, usually at the end, separated by a delimiter like a dash or a pipe. If your brand name is super long, maybe skip it on deeper content pages where brand isn't the main draw.
Okay, dash versus pipe. Any preference there based on the data?
Actually, yes. Our analysis suggests dashes are a bit safer than pipes.
Safer. How so?
Google seems to mess with pipes more often. They get removed or replaced in rewrites, something like twice as often as dashes. Maybe pipes look more spammy from older SEO tactics, or get confused with other symbols. Dashes are just standard punctuation, seem more robust.
That is a fascinating practical tip. Use a dash. Okay, let's tackle the big one. Title rewrites. Why, oh why, does Google change the titles we spend time crafting?
Yeah, it can be frustrating, but you need to accept it's the norm now. Something like 76% of titles get rewritten algorithmically. It's not the exception anymore.
76%. Wow. And the system doing this is called Snippet Brain?
That's the code name we see, yeah. Snippet Brain. And Google sees rewriting mostly as a way to improve the user experience. If your title is too long, maybe too vague, or, crucially, if it doesn't include the user's specific query terms when the page is relevant.
Snippet Brain steps in.
Exactly. It tries to find a better snippet of text from elsewhere on your page, often the H1, sometimes body text, even link anchor text, to create what it thinks is a more helpful, query-relevant title link for the SRP.
So the best way to stop Google rewriting your title isn't some trick. It's just making your title really good and closely aligned with your H1 and content.
Bingo. Consistency is your best defense. Make your title and H1 very similar, clearly state the topic, match the likely queries, give Snippet Brain less reason to intervene.
Is there a length that seems to get rewritten less often?
Interestingly, yes. Third-party studies consistently find a sweet spot. Titles between, say, 51 and 60 characters seem to have the lowest alteration rate.
Really? Why that range?
It seems to hit that balance. Long enough to be descriptive, short enough to usually avoid pixel truncation, go much shorter, under 30 characters, or much longer, over 70, and the rewrite rate skyrockets like over 95% of the time.
That's super actionable data. Aim for 51, 60 characters for stability. Okay, let's bust a couple more myths and talk quality pitfalls. Keyword stuffing people still do this.
Sadly, yes.
Yeah.
Trying to cram every variation in. It's actively penalized, as we discussed with bad title info. The ultimate penalty. Google just gives up on your title entirely.
What happens then?
Your result shows up on the SRP with no blue link text at all. Just a blank space where the title should be. It's like Google saying, this is so bad we refuse to show it. Massive fail.
Oof. Like, what about the opposite extreme? Not stuffing, but maybe exaggerating. Clickbait titles. Do they gain nav boost?
They might get an initial click, sure, but they fail spectacularly over time. Google's own quality rater guidelines are explicit here. They state the title is part of the page's main content quality.
Wow.
And titles that are even slightly misleading, shocking, or exaggerated warrant a low-quality rating from the human raters. If it's extremely misleading, it gets the lowest rating possible.
So, this one weird trick will change your life. for a mundane article that's actively damaging.
It's seen as deceptive page purpose. It guarantees those bad clicks, tanks your nav boost signals, and gets flagged by quality raters. Don't do it. The title is a promise. Keep it.
Absolutely. Okay, wrapping up this amazing deep dive. For listeners wanting to improve their titles now, where should they focus first for the biggest impact?
Start with the foundations, the technical stuff.
Yeah.
Priority 1. Get a crawler, find and fix every single missing title tag and every duplicate title tag across your whole site. That tackles potential site-wide quality issues holding you back.
Get the basics right first, makes sense, and then for boosting traffic quickly.
Priority, let's call it 3 because the fundamentals are 1 and 2. Go into your Google Search Console, find your high impression, low click-through rate, CPR pages.
Why those specifically?
Because Google already likes the content enough to show it to lots of people. That's the high impressions. But your title is failing to convince them to click. That's the low CTR. Rewriting those titles be more compelling, more user-focused for Nav Boost. That's often the fastest path to getting more organic traffic without needing any new content.
Brilliant. Focus on where the biggest opportunity lies.
Exactly.
This whole conversation has just completely reframed the title tag. It's not just some metadata field you fill in. It's this dynamic, algorithmically judged promise you make.
It really is. A promise to the user and a crucial signal of quality, relevance, and effort directly to Google's most important ranking system.
And mastering it comes back to that human-AI symbiosis.
Yep, right for the human first. Make it clear, compelling, honest. That naturally creates the positive signals the AI is looking for. You avoid the penalties, you maximize the user vote via NavBoost, and you start the ranking process way ahead.
Which leaves us with maybe one final provocative thought for you, the listener, to think about. We've clearly established that the title tag is massively important for getting the click and setting expectations, feeding into NavBoost. But we also know even the world's best title can't rescue genuinely thin or unhelpful content. So, how much of your optimization focus should now shift away from just tweaking the title itself and towards making absolutely certain that the actual page content, the H1, the body text perfectly, flawlessly delivers on the promise that title just made?